Here we will solve some two-step equations. So we have the first one of 2t minus 1 equals 5. So I first look to see if I have any like terms that I can combine, and I do not. I cannot combine these two things. So now I want to leave the letter on one side, and I want to get the numbers all on the other side. So the first thing I need to do is move this. In fact, excuse me a second, let me back up. This is the reverse of please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. So when we have numbers and no variables, we would do this from the top down. But now that we have a variable involved, we need to undo this problem, which means we're going to start from the bottom. So we want to do or undo whatever is being added or subtracted. And right now, because I could not combine any like terms, I will undo this subtracting of 1. So I want to add 1 to both sides of this equation. A 1 to both sides of this equation. So that leaves me, this goes to 0, and 2t plus 0 is just 2t. And then 5 plus 1 is 6. Now, this is multiplication. What is the opposite of multiplication? It's division. So I will divide both sides by 2. I am undoing this, so I'm doing the opposite. The reason I divided by this is because I wanted this to go to 1. 1 times t gives me t. And 6 times 2 gives me 3. So that is the answer to this. The missing letter t is a number 3. And we can go back and plug it in and see that we are right. So if I put a 3 up here, now because I don't have letters anymore, I have actual numbers, I need to do this from the top down. And I would go 2 times 3 is 6, and 6 minus 1 is 5, and 5 does equal 5, so we know that we're correct. Okay, another one. We have j divided by 9 plus 31 equals 35. All right, again, there's nothing I can combine over here. There are no like terms. So I will get rid of this addition of 31. But what is the opposite of that? It will be to subtract 31 from both sides. This is now to 0. So j divided by 9 plus 0 is just j divided by 9. And then 35 minus 31 is 4. Now, I am dividing by 9, and I want to get the 9 over to the other side. So the opposite of dividing by 9 is to multiply both sides by 9. That cancels out, giving me 1. 1 times j, excuse me, is j, equals 4 times 9 is 36. All right, and let's try one more. We will do 9, excuse me, I'll make a line here. 934 equals s divided by 31 minus a minus 961, or excuse me, 916. Now, because we've got this minus sign here and then a negative number, I always want to change this. I want to do the keep it, change it, change it. So I want to keep this, I'm going to change this to its opposite, and I'm going to change this to its opposite. So now you can see you are dealing with a fraction and adding it to a positive number. So the opposite of a positive number is to subtract this number from both sides. That will move it over here. This has gone to 0. So that just leaves this s over 31, s divided by 31, and then do this subtraction. And so 14 minus 6 is 8. That was a 2, it's a 1. So I've got 18 is left with this. Now, I am dividing by 31. In order to get rid of this 31, to get it moved to the other side, I must multiply both sides by 31. So this cancels out, leaving just the letter S. And then I'm going to use my calculator because I do not want to deal with that. And I get 31 times 18 equals 558. 558. And then one more. I've got negative 124 equals 25b plus 51. I need to get the 51 moved over here. So I will subtract 51 from both sides. This has gone to 0, leaving me 25b. Now, notice this is a negative number and this is a negative number. So I am actually adding these two things together. So this becomes 4 plus 1 is 5, excuse me. And that's a 7, so 175. This is multiplication. I want to get this 25 separated from the b. So in order, this is multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is to divide both sides by 25. 25 divided by 25 is 1. 1 times b is b. And 25 goes into 175 7 times. So the answer should be 7 equals b. And if I go back and if I plugged in a 7 right here, let's see what we would get. If I have, and did I keep, oh, here's my problem. I did not keep the negative sign and I needed to do that. So the answer becomes a negative 7. Let me put that here. So let's just do this. So I will start with 25 times negative 7, 25 times negative 7 plus 51. And that does, in fact, equal. So negative, let me just back it up. Yeah, so it equals this negative 124. When you multiply 25 times negative 7 plus the 51, you get to negative 124.